Olaf, what do you think about, Draghi seems set to remain on course so long as, nothing breaks. He's certainly not going to hit his target and doesn't seem to really be worried about hitting his inflation target any longer.
No, I think inflation targets, we've always said it needs to be close to, but below 2. If you really look at the last 30 years or so, they never really got to 2. Sometimes it's a little bit above that, but the average, the longer-term trends, never been at 2. So I think, the current level is probably not that bad, especially given all the monetary action going on and the tensions it gets you into in Northern Europe. Because there is an asset bubble building, I think, in parts of Northern Europe. As a matter of fact, actually yesterday at my house in The Hague, I got a letter from some kind of real estate agent wanting to buy my house again. So, that's back 10 years ago in that sense. So there's something brewing and he needs to be very careful.
Where else do you see the possibility of bubbles? Real estate is one that we talk about fairly often, but what else do you see, Olaf, in the possibility of Northern European bubbles?
Yeah, I think it's still contained. It's still not that bad. You need to look at this in what kind of environment we are. It's a demographic wave that's going down, so the labor force is in decline. Not that much demand for money and a lot of supply of money. So interest rates will remain low, and money velocity therefore has to be very low. And that's keeping inflation in check, I think, for the time being and for the intermediate future. So it's real estate, it's probably some other asset prices, but nothing too much, I think.
One of the things that they'll be talking about at this ECB and its Watchers Conference in Frankfurt today is fiscal sharing, I suppose, across the Eurozone. How important a reform agenda item is this for you? It's contentious, of course. Is this somewhere we're going to see progress in 2018 or not?
Well, it's a big question. And, of course, there's all kinds of factors playing a role here. Coming from the Netherlands, we've seen that there's now a pushback. We don't want more fiscal interaction.
In common with Germany.
Exactly. We want to have a slightly different setup. And I think that discussion is coming on the table, especially now that politics in Germany and France, the election season is now past us. So I think it could be a change of direction and might not be an ever-growing union in that sense.
Right. Your attitude at the moment, you say tactically you prefer risk over safety. Where does that take you in Europe? If you like a little bit of risk, where do you invest in Europe?
Yeah, so in general, we would be long equities. So, looking at global equities, I would prefer US equities, Japanese equities over Europe at all time.
Why is that?
It's just, I think, earnings outlooks in the US are a little bit better. Valuations in Japan are a little bit more interesting. I think the Trump tax plan is a very good plan. It's going to help the companies intermediary. And in Europe, there's a lot of good news priced in. We're now in the initial stages of central banks changing their policy. Yeah, that's going to have an impact. OK. All right. Great to speak to you this morning, Olaf. Thank you for joining us. Olaf van Den Heuvel, the head of investment strategy at Aegon.